All right, cool. Welcome to another episode of Market Breakdown with yours truly, Ty. YT, yours truly, TY, Ty. All right, so this is going to be just a brief recap from previous call on Sunday this past week, and just to see how we reacted on our zones, right? So if we look at this, nothing pretty much changed. It's going to be in and out very, very quick. Very, very quick far as the recap, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty. This is gold, by the way. So we can see our level still monitored right there from a daily standpoint. This is going to be from a weekly standpoint. You see, I can just bring these zones in and just know where I'm at, right? And now you see that price is kind of more so leaning towards the downside. So we want to move right where price action is. All right. So first things first, our runners right here. Now this is technically a filler. It is a black candle, right? But we have two candles right here, two candles. I took some notes today too, so I'm gonna give y'all some notes on actually how to read the system when we cover NASDAQ, right? So I can go two ways, three ways. I can go here, right? Where things may ideally don't line up like I want them to. I know this looks like jumbled, but I'm just showing you before I clear the charts. And then I can go here. This makes sense right here, right? And also right here. Or I can go standard fib. I can go standard fib right here. Now, if you're new to this video and this is your first time watching me, I am a Fibonacci trader, verbatim. That's all I trade with is the Fibonacci. So if you ever lean across my, I would say not even content, but my videos, just know that Fibonacci is homage for me, right? So that was the three ways we can line it up. Fully extended, so you know where I'm at. I'm low here, high here. That's this runner, right? And then filler right here. This is a black candle, so this splits this run, right? On a daily, right? I could go here, which we don't really have a lot of lining up, but we do have that run on buy side, clearly showing us where the multiple highs is, right? And then I can go here, standard. That means I'm looking at this imbalance this way. Remember, your first objective solely and primarily is to go find the imbalance in the market. I'm gonna say that at the beginning of every call. If you can verbatim, if you can verbatim go find the runners or the imbalance in the market when you're looking at a blank chart, this is gonna help you stay. This is gonna help you stay even keel towards finding the markups that you need to execute, opposed to just back testing frivolously, right? We're not here to back test because it looks good. We're here to back test to find out why, number one, but also to execute on that why, right? So I'm about to show y'all the 4 hour real fast so we can see these zones a little bit close up. Well, we're actually gonna go to the 1 hour so we can actually show. So we did run sell side, right? And as you can see, we're forming a runner right here. We got a runner right here, got a filler, fully extended run. Let's go to the 1 hour real fast. So last call, we called this on Sunday, this buy, right? And I was telling everybody, don't chase this candle. Just map this out, and ideally you'll have your answer. Who mapped it out? Because remember, we got our information over here, right? Based off of this imbalance. Y'all remember that? When I said, hey, this is in correlation with this. This was kind of like the video title. But if you look at this is kind of where we were. See how that lines up? We kind of caught the buy off the strength of right there, right? Just recapping. We ain't going over what we caught this week. All right, that's a nice little beautiful run too. So if you look at this, y'all see this? Because I'm about to delete it. 5, 4, 3, 2. That's what they do at you when you at amusement parks. They don't get to one, they just push you. Right? So I hope you were prepared. So off the rip, what am I evaluating right now? I have fully extended filler, right? Then I have an imbalance. Let's just call it an imbalance. Imbalance, filler, imbalance, 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 major imbalance, but it's one candle, not an imbalance, right? This is the imbalance. So to get to information that was never over here, you have to do two things, three things if you want. Here, you can go fully extended, just so you can see all my levels too. right? So you can see all the levels, right? So you can see how everything kind of shows you like, okay, it's mapping it out for me. Got it. And as you can see, even right now, we just ran sell side into a confidence zone. All right, 4,080. Not telling you what to do and what not to do. Pay attention. This happened last time. I was telling people like, pay attention. And this happened. Right? You can do one. This is phase one, right? But let's just say this run didn't exist yet. So this is all you have. Pay attention, right? This is where I need you to pay attention. Because if you would have just had this, right? And this was Friday's price action right here, if I'm not mistaken. Right? All of that was Friday's price action, right? And we are on a 1 hour too. This could have literally been your IQ right here. I'm gonna blow out everything red today too. I've been tapped in on my Asian culture here lately. That's why you see the red and black candles. Structure, right? This could have been your even, get out of there. You don't have to worry about anything anybody's saying about the market this week because this is you. Because you went with what you saw first. And then you would just allow the market to say, you know what? I don't see any resistance here, or I don't see any pullback up in this direction. I'm gonna go ahead and set my limit. If you would have set your limit, this happened Sunday, Asian session, right after the call. So if you feel like, man, I missed this call, Ty, no, you didn't. Because by the time you got there, now you can actually evaluate this. So you would actually go here. Look at the difference. No zone, right? No zone, but you could have, if you would have, been having to have another potential entry right here. But look at what I did. That's two different scenarios. This is why it's important to follow your runners. Once you get a pivot, that's the hezzy. Like if you play hoops, I say this too. That's the hezzy, but we still going in that same direction. That means I'm gonna hit you right here like I'm about to go this way, but I'm gonna hit you and I'm gonna still go to my right. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I do that, now this sets this up for what? Potential buys from 41.44 to 41.51. So that means once this prints, this pair and this pair, once price goes through this, I now can set a limit between this zone, whether I do it above, whether I do it in the middle, or whether I try to be precise and do it at the bottom. My thing is, as long as you get an entry in here, this is all that matters. You want to structure your risk to be a stop loss right here because you want to be able to see price at minimum take this one out. Remember, we draw our fibs according to significant swing points in the market. That's going to help you gauge buy side and sell side. So you don't have to guess where the highs, where the lows. You know where the significant point. We call it point of distribution. Ty, what is a point of distribution? This little opposite right here. This is a pod, what we call a point of distribution, meaning volume distributed from this candle, not the red candle. It distributed from the candle going up to move down. You would say, well, Ty, is this a pod? Absolutely not, because price did not distribute from here. This would be considered your pod because price, the volume came from here, from this candle. We're gonna get to that. So by the time I hear, and pay attention to this too. Once you get a imbalance that runs liquidity and it's met with an explosive move that presents another imbalance, you want to map that out because that's going to help you get potential added entries or also keep you at a discount so you're not trying to buy the upward move. So what do you mean by that, Ty? That means this candle, right? This not candle, this run ran. Now we bring out the sell side. This candle, well, yeah, this run ran that sell side, move back up. So that means somewhere up here, which we can locate it, right? We can locate it. Let's just do this verbatim. Let's map this out. This came into our confidence zone, right? But we also mapped this imbalance right here where it came into a zone one. So just to show you perspective of imbalance, if you just go map out the biggest imbalance you can find, right? You see how that reacts here? You see how that reacts here? You don't have to guess. And then price comes where? Into your zone one, takes that out, you're here. So you're already in a zone one based off of this imbalance because this price never came back down to fulfill this zone one. Remember, this is your equilibrium. So you're always going to have a line that splits your zones. I don't have it up here because I ran out of things on my fib. And if you want the answers to the fib, you come play with us. Description below for how you can get in contact with that. If you can't afford my Telegram by any means, this is free. Right? So this would have been 123 to 137, right? I'm almost done with this, by the way. So we don't have to I'm just redrawing zones I already had. Y'all know how I do. But this is just a visual so people can see it. This would be zone one of this imbalance, low to high. We flourished here and we pull back hard here. Get here, your sell. Remember, none of this existed, but you had all of this before this market even opened Sunday. So we gapping up, people thinking go to the moon whole time. You like, nah. Eventually you would have went short zone. Okay, let's say you get stopped out. You still are in your external zone. If you're not able to kind of connect the dots on how I'm referring to the zones, just go to that last call I had, identifying the imbalance. This call is going to be called following the imbalance. See how I'm just going with an imbalance segment? It's going to help you. All right, so by the time I get here, you can have this mapped out too, because you want to study the market where it reacts. So by the time you see that, you're like, okay, next time this market comes back up here, we're not looking for a strong pullback. We're looking to blast through here, but we want to make sure we got the information enough down here, right? So that's there. Let's get to where we are right now, though. So by the time you get that, we still on this imbalance. You want to take this high right here. See that low where I'm at right here? For those who need context, I'm right here and I'm right here, right? Low, high. This meaning you would have bought right here on Friday. You ran buy side, get out of there. It's 9 o'clock. You're done for the day. This was a choppy market right here. Right. But what did we still end up back in this zone one? So I want to notify that even when I'm not doing anything after the market closed Friday to be like, yo, I got a reaction right here. Because what happened? The market opened up here, hit your zone two, came right back down here. If you would have just had your trigger ready, this is you. And you see how even when you line this up and this up, this is off, but now you have more clarity here. So why not just drag it down? So this way, you know what? Now I got a decent range, 213 to 218 I'm in. We know levels, 100, 20, 50, 80, 100. Play the levels game. Oh, 20. Why do we randomly reject at 20? Because Ty doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to levels. Take that however you want to take it. But you don't have to aim for 20. You can just say, I want 13 to 18. I'm in my zone. Where would you set your stop loss? You ideally want to set it right here. Give your entry room to breathe. That means where we significantly swung, I want to have my stop loss there. Because now if you raid me there, I now have an awareness of a pullback may happen for me to now engage and a buy to continue up instead of trying to chase this market up after I take a loss. All right, let me keep selling up here. I could keep running. You now have created an imbalance off the run. You see how you're not chasing the imbalance, you're following the imbalance. So by the time I get here, we get an explosive move like this and we get this pullback. What is my next step? I want to map that out. All right, now you can gain some clarity. So what does this look like for me? If I'm a buy, I can't press that buy trigger until price potentially hits here. All right, but I realize that buys kind of struck up from here. My discount area is really over here. Because if I bring out this zone again, it means I'll be buying in a zone two based off of what was over here. I don't want to do that now. But based off of this information I'm presented with right here, I can do one or two things because this hasn't happened yet. I can wait for this zone to get triggered again without being impulsive. It's still Monday morning, right? Or by the time this presents and I wake up in the morning around 6, that's the time we up, 5:30 for real, I now am presented with this. This is technically a pair, and this is technically a pair. So now I'm just bringing this low up here. What does that do for me? It gets me higher in the premium. Even though I saw this, right now I'm about to really zone y'all up, but I can go ahead and do this. Right? I can do this because now I'm looking for sales. At this point, I'm looking for sales. So that means I'm only map these out because the dominant market has showed me direction already. So I'm not about to try to guess the buys if I miss this right now. Now I want to short myself at least into here. So if I short myself, I got to see what price go through this zone, come through this zone, come to this zone, take off. How many people call this trade? But we're not done because you could have been above this zone, or if you did what? Follow the imbalance. I want you to write this three or more. Three or more. I'm trying to find a word that rhyme with more to make it real catchy. I'll find it. But three or more, we still may be headed to the floor. It's too long for my liking, but we're gonna go with it for right now. But we just following this right here. Right? You see price ran sell side, and I mentioned this. I mentioned this in the chat. I was like, yo, price ran sell side. And I mentioned this in the free chat. I said, yo, if you sold between what I said, 4,200 to 4,210, something like that, I said, go ahead and partial off. We just ran sell side. Partial off here, you don't have to worry about anything else. But you may be confused by this, but you're not because look at where you are at in your entries. And then you can still meet them here. Right? So just to help out, I'm gonna turn this gray because I went up with it. I know people probably confused now, but what I mean by that is I'm getting the system down to where it makes sense to only use two shades on one time frame. I really, when y'all see Nasdaq, y'all probably gonna be like, "Oh my God, what is he doing now?" Right? But what I mean by that is how it's helping me stay systemized. When I'm finding my runners up, I turn them gray. And when I'm finding my runners running down, I turn them red. So this way I'm aware of the zones of how I'm looking to position myself for the direction of the market itself based off of whatever time frame. So I don't have to keep highlighting each high and low, which you'll see on NASDAQ. I go crazy with it. But by the time I do that, you see we sit right here. You get an extra entry right there. This break structure, we come back up. Not only am I going to be aware of this, right? What did I just say? We broke structure right here. We ran this low. How did we run it? Here's a high, here's a low. So I want to take that same information and use it at my advantage. Because not only am I in this zone, but if I want to be so tight, right, on my risk and say, you know what? I got 94 and 98 in my disposal. I'm going to go stop loss here at 211. Opposed to being down here at 180. You see how you're helping yourself just get to where is the most highest probability of the trade that I can take with the least amount of resistance, meaning loss. So if I'm willing to extend myself here, right? My confidence zone, yes, it's 6 years, but look what happens. We fulfill the imbalance into where? Let's get it back so y'all can see this happening in real time. Right here. We came and then we extended zone 1 into where? Point of distribution. So us exceeding the zone, I now have a longevity of, all right, I'm going to use this. So that means if you were an intraday trader and you took this position at agent session last night, right? If you took this, that means look at your percentage of a trade so y'all can see it. I know some people want to see what it looks like. I don't really use this tool except for showing examples, but that means you could have entered somewhere. I'm going to just use this box in the middle. Let's just say you enter right there. This is your risk to reward right here. And look what happens. You get out of there so you don't have no confusion because why you ran sell side. So that means you call 4192 all the way to practically almost 100 base points. Really 100 base points if you really sat through that and ran it. But if you were asleep during London, you would have said, you know what, I'm going to just go TP1 right here because I'm outside of my zone, right? And then by the time you wake up, you're not mad at yourself. Because by the time 6 o'clock hit, look where you at. Catching a little buy to catch you into your short and continue your race. Right? Draw some files in the chat if you kind of gained some clarity on that too. But that's to show you need to follow your imbalance. So that means if I bring my low here and my high here, right? And I'm right here, and I sold it right here. By the time I get this presented, I'm already mapping this out. I'm already mapping this out. I don't have to wait on anybody. at this point. I don't have to wait on no signal from Ty. I don't have to wait on Ty to shoot the screenshot. He said, follow the imbalance. So I'm going to do just that. So here we are with our imbalance, right? So you see all of this when you wake up, right? It's just like, all right, cool. Let me play my smooth. Oh, I got another one I can map out. I can go ahead and set myself up. It takes two. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 seconds. Now, of course, I'm going to clean it up, but 15 seconds to give you an outlook on what you need to prepare for whatever it is you're looking for. 15 seconds. If you can't take 15 seconds out of your day, it's a problem. It's a problem. That took 15 seconds for me to mark up. Now, it only took probably extra 3 seconds because I was changing the color. But look what just happened. Look what just happened. Look, you see that, right? So that means whole day you thinking like, man, I'm trying to buy, Ty. So the moment you map this out, you should not even participate right here. This did not pick you up unless you was a couple pips ahead, like I tell the chat. That's cool. But I'm gonna show you your move for your buy because why? You've been presented with another run on sell side. So you have to do what? I have to follow suit. Ty said follow the imbalance. Y'all put in the chat, follow the imbalance. Because by that time, now I'm not confused on what I need to do. Because look, price goes through, come back to. This would have been an executed confident buy in your zone 1 to get out where? Right here. Because why you entered into a zone 1, but you're resisting it. So that means you would have caught around, let's just say even kill 4105 to 4137. 30 base points. So if you would have set a standard, let's go through it, 3,000. If you would have set a 0.1, 300. If you would have set a 0.03, $30. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. It don't matter how you finesse it. It just means your buy wouldn't have been presentable unless you went right here based on this imbalance, not nothing else. Now you could have went standard fib too, because why? Once we do one, we have to do what? Follow the imbalance. You still would have been able to catch the morning price action before it happened at 9 o'clock with no guesswork. And then the moment you get here, you see you start resisting, bro, just get out. It's not the time for it because we're still in what? Sell mode. So if we go back to reference the first runner, look how it's working in our favor during Asian. Right? Look how it's working in our favor during Asian. That means I might be off somewhere. That means this is where I sit at for my 1 hour. And I promise you, I've been working a little more extensively on the 1 hour. I've been working a little more extensively on the 1 hour. And I like it. Right? So that means by the time 9 o'clock hits, right? That means I now have presented myself with what? A low and a high. But I can't map that out until what? This candle closes. So for my intraday people, if you're too antsy on like, man, Tom, I'm trying to catch the da, you missed it. This was your move. And if you're thinking like, all right, Tom, man, I could have caught this. Okay. If you would have followed your imbalance, right? If you would have followed your imbalance off the 1 hour, has that shown you any substance of a zone being tapped? No, so you can't trade it off the 1 hour. Right? It doesn't make sense. So what do? You can go to the 15. I can break this down for y'all. NAS is going to be a little more extensive too for y'all. So I hope y'all ready. So boom, I now have this at my disposal on a 15-minute. So by the time I get here, look what I found. Look what I found. More substance. So that means you could have bought at 41 scalpers, 01 to 02, out right here. Same thing. 41.32. Short happened. You could have hit them here, and you could have hit them here. 1, 2, and done. That's it. You could have caught a 30 piece, 30 base points, and then you came back down to what? 105, another 28, 25 base points, a total of 50 base points for the morning. That's if you was up this morning too. You probably wouldn't have caught that. So you would have been able to catch the short at 6 o'clock. Now, how would you have made sense of the buy? You follow the imbalance. Look at this imbalance right here, right? So I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna follow it because Ty said just follow the imbalance. So I'm going there with the low, and I'm going here with the high. Boom. This is real. This is really where we want to be at. All right. So to show you, I want you to look at it. Right now, we are in our short zone. This is where we want to be at. So we're gonna turn it gray because why we running up, right? So boom, this would have been it. And that means even if you would have caught the short off of this run right here, your awareness would have led you here, but also back to here if you would have kept your markup, right? Your higher time frame markup, right? So I still, if I'm running 15, I still would have been like, you know what? Let me set myself up here. Matter of fact, I need to go orange while I'm at it. That's 15. 15 and below is just scalping, So any scalpers up here, feel free to just come work the system on the 15-minute and stay there until you find out how to understand, I would say fillers, stay there. But by the time this happens, I'm like, all right, I get a buy. Look at the range though. 41.11, right? To 41.14. You spooked out by 41.05. Where did it come to? A point of distribution. Well, a filler technically. Your stop loss needs to be where? Right here at 4,100. That's only 10 base points. Where are you looking to get? TP1, 41.31. You already 20 base points up, so you already got a 1 to 2. Now you get 43. Now you got your 30 base points off the strength at 9:15, randomly at 9:30. Ding, 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 bell open. Nobody catches the buy because they're going to tell you, wait the first 15 minutes, right? Whole time you don't miss the move. So by the time you go there, right, what you need to do? This isn't an imbalance. This isn't an imbalance. The imbalance is right here. Let me follow the run. By the time I'm here, now what do I do? Well, Ty, I'm just gonna wait. You right, you're gonna wait. Because look where this sets you up. That means whole time you caught one move, potentially two. One, two, done. You're in your confidence zone. Get out of there. Because price could still come where? To this point of distribution on the 15, if it wanted to. So now if I'm following runners, right? Following runners, where's the runner at? Right here, right? You can start to see him now. Y'all can start to see him. If you're new to this, you can start to see him. Until that runner presents itself, you should not be engaging. Right. And this is going to take a little bit more work to understand when price doesn't hit because this technically is a runner. Let's just calculate that so you can actually see it happen in real time. That's going to take a little bit more work to understand, like, and actually sit through this to see price give you some resistance here because these candles close beneath here and you could have caught the sell up here. But you got to work the system a little bit more to kind of just sit still on situations like this because remember, price never, this is what we call a pivot. Price never came down here. You see it reacted to your zone one. So if you were looking for buys here, you weren't wrong. It just, they got you. All right. So now you take the L, step away, map out the runner, right? Because if you would have mapped out the runner here, once it's happened in your zone one, if you boom, you right there. You caught the sell off the wick. 125, right? 125. And you caught that at 3 o'clock, Sydney open. And then the market did what? Open at 1600? No, I'm tweaking. 13, 14, 3 o'clock. Yeah, Sydney open. Yeah. Sydney opens at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So by the time I'm doing this, I'm just now following suit. Let me map that out for y'all so you can see it. Because when we get the nods, man, you might want to bring out your notebook. I'm gonna take a picture and put it in the chat. I'm gonna actually just chat GPT so I can give a formal note for my Telegram so they can actually have it for their studying. But I'm gonna read it so you can go back and record it. I mean, listen to the recording if you need it on YouTube. That's just the perks of being in the chat. You just get everything face value, right? You don't have to go back to a recording. And then we go here. So that means this is your entry. Look at you knowing what to do. So that means if you map this out, price didn't come here. You don't trade it. We open up right here, right? We get another pullback. This is where you at. So look, price came to that void, right? So where should you be aiming at for price to come above this high? But if you already missed a buy, look, that's 80 to what it came to, the point of distribution, 111. That's still 30 base points. If you can get yourself in a rhythm of catching 30 base points regularly, you'll put the risk on the board. Because that means if this was your Asian play, what does Asian guarantee us? 30 to 50 base points, no matter what session, no matter what. If you're trading an Asian pair, if you may. Gold is universal. You can trade it all session round. But NASDAQ, you want to look for London and New York. So if you were trading a 15-minute right now, this is just where you are. Right. And then you're also right here too. Right. And I want you to look at this though. Because if you traded a 15, hold on. I want you to look at that. That is a wick entry, y'all. Y'all see that? I can't make this up. And some people be thinking like it's still flawed, but this is teachable. Because remember, none of this existed prior to this existing. None of this did. So if you just would have just waited all day to be like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna go ahead and ping my buy just for here. You waited all day. You could have caught the sell up here, no problem. Because look at this range, 132 to 145. So even if you took an early sell, you're like, all right, you see price deal. Where are you supposed to set your stop loss? Significant swing point. So if you set it right above there, look what price came. It never came to get you. But look where you're aiming at. Zone to what? Zone. And look where we at. Zone two. I can do this all day. I actually have been doing this all day. My bad. Right? Look, this is what I'm saying. So even if you would have studied this runner, one fib did the job the entire day. And that was the last run on dominant sell side. Off the 15, though. I want you to drop in the chat what type of trader you are. Scalper, intraday, swing, or position. Scalper, intraday, swing, or position. This should help you. So you know how to identify your identity as a trader. All right. Now you don't get any participation rewards, not tripping on it, but you don't have to answer. Just know that it's important to know what type of trader you are so you don't get confused. Right? Because if you would have been able to hit them here, let's say you took this buy and then you hit them here with this sell, right? That's an intraday perspective. I'm gonna buy here, I'm gonna sell here, I'm gonna get out here. Or I'm gonna buy here, sell here, get out here. 1, 2, 3, I'm out. Right? So any questions before we move to NASDAQ? Because this is gonna be where the notebook comes up. Go get that. I'm looking at the chat. Any questions? Drop them in the chat. Don't be afraid, y'all. It's a free call. Ask whatever you please. All right. Now, if you took that sell right here, if I were you, be smart. Go stop loss. Where you at? 112. I would go no higher than for real this because you still have an imbalance right here that wasn't fulfilled. What do you mean by that, Ty? Glad you asked. Just to help anybody out who over there imposing. Right. Price can still come to this zone two right here at 17 to 19. So, right. If you didn't catch or have your fib lined up like I just did right here, it's no need in you trying to execute. You just be willing to learn without trying to execute right now if you don't fully understand the system. All right, so drop some fives in the chat and we'll move to NASDAQ. Rhyme intended. We're gonna spend the last 25 minutes on NASDAQ. That was a good stretch. Let me see some participation here, man. Y'all good? Cool, cool, cool. Smooth, smooth. Appreciate it, appreciate it. All right, look, my energy's here. It's not going anywhere. It's here. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you because I'm back on YouTube. I'm excited, man. I'm excited, man. All right, boom. Let's talk about it. All right, so I'm gonna scale out with NASDAQ, right? So we can actually see it. Don't get confused by the eyeballs. All right, so yeah, like I said, been in the lab, man. So first things first, first order of business. This was not existing when we were on a call right here. Sunday. What time did I had a call? 7:45. Let's go be precise, Ty, because people not gonna believe it. This marker, I said, yo, I'm gonna only mark out the 4 hour zones and I should be good because I was extending my time a little bit. We were right. Let's go actually look at the time. So 18, so 1945. That sounds like an important date. So oh, it's my bad. 1945. This is where we were on the call. So I did go for a little bit of time. So I'm gonna just say 2030. I started marking it up right here. This zone. Explain to me why. Explain to me why. Or explain to me why. I'm gonna get to all of this, don't worry. I know you're like, what's going on? Look at that. That did not exist when we was right here, y'all. I just want y'all to notice, like, so you compare the two videos, right? You can actually see that. You know what I'm saying? You can actually see that, like, what? How? How? Because we came from where? Zone to zone. And even look where I got my fib drawn out at. I don't even know where I got it drawn out at. We just hit a confidence zone. And I'm over here just randomly talking right now. But nah, we got right here, I think. Yeah, right here. So this just hit a confidence zone. And look what happened. If we were just a few minutes earlier, yeah, you would have caught 200 base points on NASDAQ. No issue. But to what extent are you going for your analysis? Because see, I understand everything that's on this chart right now. Everything. I understand everything. Like I can bring it up verbatim where everything is at. And I only did this because I was on a 1 hour just doing some work. Even back here, I was doing some work. Right? I just want to show y'all though, like if you just trust the system and never trust me, trust the system. Trust the system. Right? I'm only a vessel of this system. It was already here before I existed. Right? A lot of you are putting in the work to kind of reveal it to you more. Right? And I'm proud of you if you are doing that. Remember, it only took 15 seconds. Some of y'all think it takes 15 hours. It took 15 seconds to map out a high, a low, 4 zones. Just remember that. When you start making excuses, I don't got time, Ty, I can put in an hour a day. Yeah, you can't even give yourself 15 seconds. So I just want y'all to see this. So the reason I did this is because what I'm about to read to you, I'm gonna read it verbatim how I wrote it. But this is just a low and a high that broke structure. Meaning this counter broke structure and this runner broke structure, meaning we ran buy side and we ran sell side. Well, basically the void right here. Well, the gap. Like I told y'all last or Sunday, everybody and their mama caught this move because they bought the gap. We don't trade gaps. We trade system, right? Because we ran down here, pivot, hezzy, hit them again. Sell side ran. Then we ran up aggressively, pivot, hit them again. You see the hezzy? Boom, boom, here. Boom, boom, here. You're not worried about this. I ain't gonna say inner work because then it confuse you, but you're not worried about this stuff in between. If you can focus on these bold moves, that's gonna lead you to exactly what is really happening, if you may. All right, so that's enough of that. Just to show y'all, you could have caught the sell right here too, but I'm gonna show y'all on the 1 hour extensively. So if you do have multiple screens, follow me on the 1 hour. How many people here trade NASDAQ? So even right here, we are technically still in the zone one, but potentially still one more run down. Potentially. I just see relativity in lows right here for one more sweep. But if we don't sweep, it is what it is. We could be playing system right here in zone one. Matter of fact, let me see. I like going to find out why. Man, I promise you this was not rehearsed. Well, look at it. So it hit zone one. You know what I'm saying? Little razzle dazzle, line it up. So what do you mean by that, Todd? This move ran sell side off the run. ran sell side. That literally is all that is. All I took was this being a pair and this being a pair. And you could have caught potentially right here. But if you were a swing trader, this would have been a big zone for you, right? So this is why you just size it down. You know what I'm saying? Like you size it down. Like if you know you're facing a big opponent in ball, I'm just gonna always talk hoops. You go find that key player on that team and you box and win them. That means you find your hustler of a defender and you face guard him the entire time. Your coach ain't worried about whatever. You just face guard. That's a wear and tear on their player because now that's the heart of the team, right? But your face value, your face guard. I was one of those guys, right? Coach was like, yo, you ready? Him, got him. That means you bring their 25 point, 30 point average down to like 11, 12 points maybe at the end of the game. All right, that's all that is. So if you can be able to shrink your higher time frame into understanding like, oh shoot, I got a potential at 346 to 380, even based off of this too. But if you had this awareness, right, you're not saying that you would have, but comes with time, you would have been able to engage from at least here to here during Asian and caught you a NASDAQ play of 200 base points. Right? It's at 59 right now, so you would call, yeah, 200 base points. That means a 0.1 would have been 2,000. A 0.01 would have been 200, just given the lots. 0.05, you know what I'm saying? Like you would have had 1,000 Asian sessions sitting pretty from 19 to 20 in an hour. Just start to put the math to the time. Time becomes non-existent to how quickly you can make the money if you just let me set a 0.1. Let me get out at zone to zone. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Situations like that. So let's go talk about what these eyes mean, Ty. I'm gonna bring you over here. So if you're paying attention to gold, pay attention to gold. That's perfectly fine. So the zones that I have. So what did I say? Three or more running some more. So I said three or more running some more. So if you have a situation where you have, this is where you really got to lock in and focus. I need you focused right here. If you have a situation where you have three or more consecutive candles, that is our identity around a runner. Now, mind you, you're going to have situations like this too. See, it's still three consecutive candles of the same color, whatever color you use, don't matter. You can have purple and pink. If three purples going one way, that is a runner. But you got to add some parentheses to that definition. A runner that's running liquidity. That means here we ran a form of liquidity right here, right? It wicked it, and you get a move up, pivot. You see that move right there? We didn't run the dominant liquidity, meaning support and resistance are your liquidity generators. So where you have resistance and where you have support, that is your like flasher of like, hey, they could get rated. That could be with a significant swing point, or that could be where they get rated to where my confidence on I'm leading into the definitions or the vocab to where it makes sense to position myself for potential what? Confidence on. So once I get here, yes, I'm a map this out for two reasons. Potentially catch the sell or potentially catch the buy, which price never came here. So definition number one. Now you can rewind this back, write it down, however you may. I write in cursive, so it's easy for me to just flow. Drawing the fib based on the runs on sell side allows the charts, I said charts, shorts and sells to be orchestrated within the same fib drawn on the swing low to swing high, right to left. Now I'm going to show you what that means. This is your swing low. This is your swing high. So we're going right to left, not left to right. So I said the fib based on the runs on sell side allows the shorts and sells to be orchestrated within the same fib. What do you mean by that, Ty? That means when price gets up here in your external, your extremes, you don't have to really draw another fib. This is going to lean towards more so my intraday and swing traders, meaning your best bet is to get in at the discount. That's your best bet. Get in at the confidence zone, and if it doesn't present it, your next opportunity is what? Zone one. But let's just say you get this right. You don't got to sell right here. It didn't happen. You should not be tripping. You should already have your limit set here. Now, two scenarios. Ty, it never came back here. But look what you were presented with. So immediately, what should you do? Follow. Somebody put in the chat. What's the name of this call? Follow the what? Who gonna be the first one? Follow the what? Come on, y'all ain't been paying attention. Follow the what? Starts with an I. Follow the what? Follow the imbalance. I beat y'all to it. That means your entry sits here. So that means what did price do? Because remember, you got presented with this information once this candle was presented. That's your pair here and here. So that means, let's even go verbatim right here. Let's be accurate. Right there. What did I just say? Your sales can be orchestrated within the what? The same fib. What's the first step? I'm follow the imbalance, Ty. Okay. When I follow the imbalance, I'm now looking for potential zones here, right? I'm now looking for potential zones here or buy, excuse me. If it doesn't happen, I don't trip. I have a limit set here in the case. And look what happened. That makes sense. Like, all right, cool. Price could come fulfill this gap. I want to be prepared. If it doesn't, now price pivots. It literally pivots in my zone. So I'm here now. It went through my zone. This is London. Look what happened at 6 o'clock. Chat, y'all know what's up. 5:55. Top of the morning, chat. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, you presented with this. You trade this. What did the definition say? Your sales can be orchestrated within the same fib. That means if you keep this same fib, you now have an area of where you could potentially get out, let alone read it for what it is. So you buy here on a Thursday, price runs up. Friday, you ain't even touched this button since Thursday. It's in the morning. You just letting it flow. But what should you do? You should map out your zones, number one. Right? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. All right, so I lost my train. Follow the imbalance, right? So by the time you enter here, you could do one or two things. You could go ahead and map out your zones and treat them as TPs. I want you to write it down in your notes. If I'm confident in my position, I'm mapping out my zones for potential TPs. And ideally, you're mapping out each home, if you may, each home. And this is where we got our zone theory from, by the way, too. So if you ever see this out on the internet, I'm not tripping. You just know where it came from. Because there's people out here probably still teaching this that came through the chat, which I don't care, but they're not gonna get a credit, which is cool. They want the credit for the accolades. I want you to take this and flourish. I'm not worried about no. Take this and let it mold it into yours. All right. So by the time this sits, right? Remember, by the time you get outside of the spectrum of our system, right? This means trade is done. So look at this, right? All right. So what are you still supposed to do? 3 or more. We could be running some more. Okay. So I got 3 or more right here, right? So I'll map this out. Now I'm not gonna map out these zones, right? I'm not gonna map out these zones because it's gonna confuse you a little bit. But I want you to show you the intentionality behind that didn't hit zone one. So if you would have went setting your swing low from left to right, you would have missed this move. Ty, I was waiting on this to come back to it never came. You didn't hit the first runner. First runner showed you an opportunity right here. It ran sell side. You was supposed to be in. So now you got to do what? Three or more. So boom, you watching the market verbatim. All right, Tom, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. You're gonna be upset. All right, price ain't came back down here yet. All right, Tom, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Look where price finally came to this zone. You don't miss all this game, right? But look, by the time you see all of this, you're like, dang, man, I ain't got no opportunity. It's not that you don't have an opportunity, you're just not on the right time frame to catch the opportunity. But we're gonna stay on the 1 hour so you can see the structure. But you still have an opportunity to what? Prepare for the sales. Because within that same fib, your sales can or shorts can be orchestrated. That means if you didn't get an opportunity here for a buy, where does price come? Right here. Here's your short opportunity right here. This you. So boom, you set it up. 4020 or 426 to 458. You catch a nice short. 200 base points. Whew. Ty got out of there, man. I got out of there. I was able to get some, bro. Happy for you, excited for you. That means you caught a short Friday and you was out of there Friday afternoon. So now, market open. We got a filler, two. We need three or more. So that means right here to right here, right? That's a runner because we ran buy side. Ignore these levels right here. This is showing you if you were to hold for my swing traders. I mean, intraday. Boom. Right here, because I got three or more. I have my pair right here. So we off the opening, it come back down and wick. This candle closes. I'm just watching the market. Boom, I got my counter right there, right before midnight. I'm perfectly fine. I'm gonna go to sleep because I got an opportunity for what? Sales here before. And this is the thing. Somebody gonna say, well, duh, you can already say that it already happened. So you have substance. No, bro. This did not exist before this existed. After this candle printed, that's your pair right there. That means none of this existed. So even if I would have had this call all the way up until midnight, I'm like, yo, buys potentially coming here, sales potentially coming here. Go ahead and set y'all limits. You want to go with the most dominant. Yeah, you got a reaction here, but you sleep. What time is this? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Why did we randomly come down here at 9? Right before the opening bell. That's you. That's a wick. And look, you in the external right here. Right? You in the external right here. So let me shorten these because this was your buy, this was your external zone. That means your shorts ideally came from here, right? Now for my previous support, previous resistance, new support, new resistance people, you now have a new resistance acting as what? A wick entry. This is you, yo. This is you. So now you're a part of what? You're a part of the buy now. Where does your exit need to be? Look, right here. That means you caught that off the wick, though. Let me ask you, not even do you think this is believable? I don't believe. I don't condone the word believe. Why not, Ty? Like, it's biblical. Is it biblical? Or is it just like something man said you should believe in your dreams? I think belief is a lie. It's in the word, lie, belief. Why? I'm gonna put y'all on game. When you believe something, you know where that comes from. You know what spirit that comes from. When you believe in yourself, is because you already exuding doubt within yourself, right? You have to come from a space of knowingness. You have to have some type of conviction to put a system in place to know that things are going to work out for your greater good, whether it looks bad in the eyes of yourself or looks good in the eyes of yourself. You realize I said yourself, not anybody else, right? So if you have this knowingness, you should have already had the limit when you went to sleep. So off the rundown, you like, shoot, I'm gonna just wait to see if it pick me up. If it don't pick me up here, at least I got an opportunity up here. And you sit and wait because either way, you hit them here, that's 250. You hit them here, that's 400 smack, 400 smack, 800 base points, and it only took you within a day. That means you ain't tripping off of now. You're not worried about FOMO, right? You're not worried about FOMO because you caught them with a sell here, right? And then you say, "Ooh, I got out of there, Tom. I'm gonna just wait." It was Friday. It's a good Friday to catch a short, right? Because we ran buy side clearly. Then by the time price open, you're like, all right, shoot, I got a pair right here. I'm toss at three or more running to go, or three or more running some more. That's what I said. So My thing is, don't think run, 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 run. You're running some more means wait for the pullback so we can run some more, right? Because that pullback happened exactly how it needed to, ran some more here, intraday perspective all day. So by the time this happened, what are you supposed to be doing? Three or more. You got to follow suit. So not only are you in position, you're now waiting until price does what? Potentially raid where you drew your high at, which is TP1, get out of there. So by the time you're here, you're now where? Here, right? But you're already in position here. Once this candle prints and it opens up in your zone, hit them, right? But by the time you're here and you mark this up, you can't get blindsided by this now because you already seen you come from here and you came from here. Get out of there. Why? Because imbalance, rebalance. We've completed the mission. 100% full retracement. That's what you can't miss in this. You're following the imbalance, right? So if you following the imbalance, you got to pivot right there. So you got to, oh, hold on. Let me do what Ty said do. Why? Because he probably put me on game for some positioning. Because by the time you enter a sell here and then you get printed this, and you, all right, you know what? I got that black candle. Let me partial off. Why? Because in London, or excuse me, in the Asian, once again, some reason I'm getting 2300 as a common denominator of helping me out for morning execution, right? So by the time we get here, you're out. You now have a target from here to here because why? You may go to sleep. Well, you know what, bro? I'm ringing them right now, but I'm gonna put a limit. I'm gonna put a limit here, right? Pick me up here, but I need to get out of here. So I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm gonna get my TP right here. I'm probably gonna go to sleep, but I see I have a reaction. If I was to take a position, I need to be sitting where? Probably right at this low, just to protect myself while I'm asleep. That's almost what, 40 base points, right? Because by that time, what have I been presented with? If I'm up that late, here and now I'm here. But I want you to realize what I just did though. Don't miss that part. By the time I came here, right? What am I trading? Zone to what? Zone. And you see I'm doing these fresh leading into what I already did. So you know I'm just not like showing you something so you're not understanding. I'm showing it because I'm doing what? Three words. What's the title of the video? Following the put it in the chat. Right? So by the time I'm here, I need to be doing what? All right, cool. I got it. And you see how your zones can get crazy. Delete them as you go. But the bigger the imbalance, you know what I'm saying? Keep it because it's going to make sense later. All right, so by the time I'm here, what am I doing? I'm here and I'm here. So this is already eluding me to say, yo, I got some opportunity for sales up here. I'm going to go ahead and just place a limit. I want to look for sales now because I'm really at all-time highs. So buys, you know what? I may be done. Because why? Now I have to follow this imbalance right here. So if I was looking at one more buy, look at the eye. Put me right in zone one. So that means I woke up 9 o'clock. Why is 9 o'clock NASDAQ showing me a pullback every time it's ready to go up? Take note of that. Because if you realize like every time I did that, 9 o'clock was a 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. For my NASDAQ traders, be around the charts at 9 o'clock. Easy. Look for your zone one. Buys are definitely showing you something. And if it's ready to sell off, it's definitely gonna run up at 9 o'clock, 9:30 and drop. But look at what the areas I have of influence now, right? And even to show you where this zone is right here, just so you can see it, I ain't gonna do no more zones. You got right here this low, and then you're right here, here. I should have drew this gray because we went up. And I should have drew this one gray too, but let's just turn it gray for the sake of here. My bad if I go over, I'm just excited. So if you stick around, that's cool. You can go. Please leave when you need to. Don't let me hold you up. This is recorded. By the time I'm here, look at that. That means you know impulse, you're not impulsing now. And this beats you to this. So even if you scalping, you hit them here, sell, boom, you get your reaction right there. I'm gonna map this out. Because price has not shown me no support here or reaction yet. So look, by the time I get here, it's about to get crazy. This is where you gotta follow me. By the time I get here, look what I presented with. But Ty, you said three or more, so three or more, running some more. you're already in position for a sell, right? Why wouldn't you follow suit? Because we broke structure right here to the downside. Remember, it's all relative to the time frame you're on because on the lower time frame, if we go 15, 30 minutes, it's three or more. You just have to have that cognitive ability to to get the correlation. You're gonna have to do it on your own time. Gotta make you do some work. But by the time I'm here, remember you matching up your pair, not the high. By the time I'm here, your entry could have been here, got out of there. You could have bought, it could have been scalping. Boom, I'm gonna hit them here. Boom, I'm gonna hit them here. But you can't map this out until this closes. So now you get a better opportunity for a sell right here. By the time you're here, your stop loss can sit right up here. And then what? You get a breaker structure right here. We took out that same low, right? Right? Into our where? Point of distribution. Look where price is shuffling at, right? So what are you supposed to do? Follow the imbalance. Man, this is a good topic. So you thinking like, all right, Tom, man, right here, bro, I'm about to get out. Why are you getting out? Why are you? This is your opportunity to sit still because price has not came here yet. So if you was just like, you know what, Ty, I got the sell, I'm gonna put a stop loss right above this high. That's perfectly fine because you now know that price could potentially come here. So by the time you get this sell off, look where you at. Confidence zone, right? Confidence zone. Look where you at. You see how previous resistance in these areas are now. Well, this was zone one, right? Or was it? I think it was. I think it was. Yeah, because it never came here. By the time you get in here, that could be a partial off. But if you hold, if you intraday swing, this is where you gain your confidence, right? Because remember, you caught a sell here, in here. You're at all-time highs. You're not panicking at this point. This is where we'll do a 4 hour call, but this is where you scale out and actually, okay, let me see. Price significantly swung here. You know what? Ty, if price come here, I'm gonna set a limit here and I'm gonna keep my stop loss right here. I'm banking on it. I'm glad you're banking on it because look where it pays off at. I see, but now by the time you get this, three or more, I keep got to look at it. Three or more running some more. It's because more and more. I'm gonna find a word. All right. And then I go here. No. You see how this it did react, but look what never got touched. So you're more confident. Look where it places you. People say, I used to be one of these guys. Having a sell limit right above highs or a buy limit right below, excuse me, below lows is not the way to go. But look at the system, how it flows. I now have purposely sold above buy side. These highs got raided into my zone. Look how tight the window is. Oh man, I'll be calling these. 538 to 565. Normally I say 30 to 60. So use 30 base point radius with that type of stop loss. I'm banking on it. I'm banking on them. I'm banking my chips on this drop. There's too many imbalances that haven't been fulfilled down here, let alone this confidence zone that get tapped down here, right? And this is relative lows. So by the time I'm right here, look what price didn't do. It didn't touch my confidence zone. But what have I been presented with? Y'all know where I'm going. What's the three magic words? Follow the imbalance. By the time I'm here, price is not showing me. I'm not risking it right here if I'm playing system. Now, my chat knows a little bit more feng shui. They kind of position themselves. In reality, you wouldn't do a half risk and you go stop loss right above the 0.5. So this way you don't, you still leave room for price to potentially come to your premium, your zone two. All right, but by the time I see my level here and I'm seeing price not even trying to come up here, I'm not trying to play guessing game. My risk should have been right here to elude me to saying, yo, I can't wait till you take out that because this still has not been fulfilled. So you get drops. This is you. I want you to start imagining, being more delusional about yourself to say you can catch plays like this because I'm showing you. Look at the eye, right? The eyes are showing you just highs and lows. These are number highs and lows, by the way. These are pivots. If you see bolts on my chart, they're pivots. That means the pivot happened, but it didn't come back into where? The actual imbalance. So now I'm here and I'm here. Still no gain. Still no gain. So I'm not pressing the button. right? Now I'm about to show you something of here, right? The reason I have this bolt here is because by the time this presents itself, and we about to wrap it up soon. If you stay this long, man, I know you gonna be making some money probably for this week and then in your near future, right? This is where this came from. Ty, but you said follow the imbalance. That's right. We're gonna follow the imbalance. When your bolt, well, you don't have to use a bolt, but when my bolts are on my chart, I'm just using visualization for calls now. That's a filler. That means I'm now looking at the fully extended range, so I don't have to do what? I don't have to go to the 4 hour. That means this is a 4 hour runner. I don't have to worry about three or more, three or more, running some more, because I know that if we did not retrace back up to this imbalance, that means even right here, I could have put a bolt. Or that means this low to this high would have been able to suffice. But the fact that I have this, look at this is a point of distribution along with the filler. Now we come here. So now what I'm looking for, I'm gonna sit here because now price is eluding itself what? To come up. I need to go ahead and map this out because I'm aware of this. I'm aware of this. Once you get aware of it, map it out. But until then, of course, map your runners out because now what are you gonna do? You're gonna map this out, right? And then you're gonna do what? Map this out, and then you would have missed your move, right? You would have missed your buy, right? But if you would have had this as your runner, that means ideally you would have been looking for price that was support here. So you would have missed all of this price action because you didn't go lower time frame, which is perfectly fine. If you trade in 1 hour, you know what the move you're looking for. You would have sold it here. You would have got a nice reaction. Probably would have got stopped out because your stop loss would have been where? Right here, potentially. So you think about it. You would have been at 459. That's a steep range, right? And that's definitely a steep range. You wouldn't have been setting no 400 base points of a stop loss. So by me going here, I have more substance. But I'm still doing what? Three or more, right? We can't do three or more. Well, three or more is right here, but price never came where? I want you to look at this. Price never came where? To my zone one. By a hair, still you probably got picked up if you kind of listen to my lingo, be right above or right below if you buying or selling. And then this would have been your opportunity, right? It kind of shorted here and there. But look at this one, right? And then look at that run up. Now I'm presenting myself even with substance that's not there because I still have three or more right here. One, two, three. I'm gonna go with that runner. When I really say follow the imbalance, I mean it at the core. Because look at you. Look at you. If you would have just done what Ty said to do, right? You could have waited, caught your short right there, and hit him right there at 716. Get out of there. Because why? Your confidence zone has already alluded that things already been taken care of. We'll talk about that on a later call. But by the time you hit him here at 716, you hit him here, you even get right above 300. Bro, that's a 400 piece. And then what? You just like, oh, I got out of that short. Price come right back to it. Hold up. Let's say you didn't even have that zone. You just went with that or went with this, right? You should, you know what? Let me just go ahead and map this out. How many seconds Ty said take? You right. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you to depend on what you're looking for there. I can't make that decision for you. But even if you would have kept this one fib, you could have sold them here, bought them here. But I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna follow the imbalance because Ty said so. There's an imbalance right here, major one, right? But look at the substance you don't get if you don't follow the imbalance accordingly, right? You don't get this. You just don't get this because you missed this run up. You missed it. You missed it right here. Why? Because whether you believe it or not, this right here, right, was a zone two of this. So if you map that out, right, going somewhere with this, man, my God, bro, I get the chills. It's like, look, if you were to map this out, y'all know me, man. I'm gonna just delete this. It's cool. I'm gonna bring that back though, because that was actually a zone that reacted. But if you would have just mapped this out, right, and you red zone it, let's just say you're doing what I'm doing verbatim, and you red zone it, right, and you red zone it, you now have substance to say, All right, I mapped that out, looking for potential sales here. Look how you're able to guide yourself. So by the time you go here and then you bring this back, remember, it matters the moment the pair presented itself. So you initially, right? You initially, hold up, line it up, right? You initially would have wanted to buy right here, right? You initially would have wanted to buy right here. So by the time price hits you at set, if you're disciplined and you have your limit set, and then you come here, by the time you get out of here, you're like, hold up, price is showing me a selling mechanism. Because by the time I get this drop, what do I have to do now? Even right here, gang, I'm still following. No matter where my zone, it's up to you, depending on how many zones you need to draw for yourself. Because this would have been your blueprint even to a T, bro. Like, so even you had time. Once again, this is London. What time is this? 9 o'clock. Excuse the animation. I'm not forgiving myself or apologizing for it. Look, I just mentioned this. 9 o'clock. Nasdaq on the buy. Go up. 9 o'clock. Nasdaq off the run up, off the buy side into the point of distribution. So that means even if you would have had this mapped out from this, you could have extended just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself some room. All right, 720, 794. Tide is kind of a little steep for me. I'm actually bank on it right here. 59 to 60, 94. Why? Because 50 level, okay? Price goes to 820. So if you get up here in the middle, get about 80, 20 is the next level. Where should your stop loss be sitting? Right here. And NASDAQ spread for real, it shouldn't get you out right here. Because if you know that came to 21, it's not a big spread on NASDAQ. Now, if you wanted to kind of like, you know what, Tom, I'm banking on this drop because you got substance with you, right? If you went what? That laugh is very right there. That takes care of all that if you were on a 4 hour. Now I can just go here and just draw this blue without even going up. You know what I'm saying? Now you have more substance within your substance. Right? You're 50% of here and you're literally at the top of here. So you could have had entry here, and entry here. Just for the fun of it. And then boom, you get your drop. Where are you going? Zone to zone. Matter of fact, let me turn this blue so you know it's true. All right. Right there. Here to here. Out of there. Out of there. Now you're not microdosing these runners because you've already enhanced the bigger ones. So by the time I get there, what are we doing? This was a good topic. Following the runner. And you see how with your 4 hour, you just lace it? You literally went zone to zone, bought here. You didn't get your sell until when? This is intraday perspective, by the way. So by the time you hit him here, get out of there. Now, if you hit him here, you have a TP right here, and you see price kind of just settling up in here. What are you hesitating for? You're in system. Play it. Play it to where? Potentially to here. But by the time you get a reaction here, you close beneath the zone. You can have some smartness to get out of there because your true sales coming from here. So by the time you get a rejection here, what time is this? 1800. Yeah, so you seeing price. I'm going to get out of there top before I go to bed. So you lose a couple hundred. So price comes back down to do what? I have three or more, some more, three or more. I keep running some more. I don't like it. That's why I keep looking at it. Right? I still got definitions to give y'all. But look, when you do that, that left to right, remember you don't have as much substance. And now you got to aim here. Look what price kind of shorted right there, right? Even if we extended that. So that means your sell when it came where? Here. That means you still want to have a confidence zone ideally into where? Here. But you had your 4 hour laced up right here to here based off of that being fully extended. Right? So by the time I'm here, I'm doing what? I'm just following the zone, following the zone. Right? Y'all get the point. Because I'm gonna give y'all these definitions to get out of here. I'm surprised in the chat if that was fire though. That was fire, man. But yeah, because I still have all of these to get through. But I'm not gonna take out. I just wanted to kind of dive deep in that core to show you. So before I give that, let's just do what we doing here, right? The first thing I said, what? If you just use one fib, it should give you exactly so we can use that. We can use this. But three or more, right? Three or more, running some more. I got it. I got it. That brings you here, right? Still brings you there, right? But look, three or more, three or more. Now, this is where I said you gotta have some, you gotta have some understanding here to see that this run up is still a pivot because we didn't come to zone one. You get that? We rejected zone two as an expected reaction. We didn't get to zone one until here, but you get your short zone right there, right? So by the time you go ahead and just set it, remember, none of this exists by the time you're able to do this. Now we went with a full extension, right? So it means a 4 hour runner is happening right here. But even if you went here, right, you still are in your external. It's just you narrow your vision without it being two different zones into one zone, right? You see that? So now you just looking at 629 to 664, opposed to like having like, oh man, do I? But you can split your wrist too. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I get that and that, what am I doing? Following zone, right? Following zone. Cool. I don't get that. That means opportunity can present itself at any given time to come up here. So I want to prepare now if I'm missing the sales for the buys. So boom, what I have right here. So this one right here, this is one of those one-offs I did to get this entry because it matters. Because we broke structure. Once you break structure, that's important. That's going to be one of the definitions. Look at how tight that is of a window for you. Because remember, you can't get this until this candle presents. This happened at 2100. Right there. 9 o'clock. Why is 9 and 9 happening? I don't make the rules. The market is rigged in your favor once you kind of know how to crack that egg with no shells. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I get this, I ain't even tripping. Like TP1, or you can do it like that. TP1, TP2, that void, TP3. Now all I have to do is this. I don't get it. I don't trade it. That is a philosophy. So by the time I'm here, look where I'm positioning myself. That's already mapped out for y'all. So that means somewhere down here, if we raid here, you still got opportunity for price to come down here. That's why I got this set up. That's why I got this set up right here. Right? And then you just let it play out. We don't have a three or more. You do have a run on sell side right now. You could go here. You could, but three or more, running some more. That doesn't give me any substance. I don't like that. It's not clean. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But if I go here, as I said, if you sold it right there, you know what I'm saying? Just be careful. I got you. This is a 4 hour. How many hours right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when does the 4 hour start? 10 o'clock. This is a 4 hour candle high. And then this is the 4 hour candle low for 2 p.m. 4 to 4. This stuff is so systematic and routine. It's not hard to miss. That's why, like, if your filler doesn't make sense, extend it. And then even if you went here, we didn't run no sell side. So if you would have went right here, look, I don't make the rules, man. I don't make the rules. Because look, you would have been able to catch the buy at 2 p.m. and at 7 o'clock. But then you would have been able to have some type of awareness, be like, hold up, let me just extend this a little bit. Oh, okay. So I caught a confidence zone buy right here. And by the time this low and present, oh, okay. I could have sold it right here. And where are you attentively selling it to? To this main runner here. So even if you sold right here, if I were you, I'd just put a stop loss right there, 641. But you would have had to probably get like 611 because if you selling outside the zone, you know how that goes. We can still get a reaction. But if you sell it, just be careful. I would even go right above 614 so you don't trip. But that's 100 base points. You already missed the move. You get what I'm saying? If you don't play it when it's there, you miss the move. You can't be upset with nobody but yourself. You can't be because if you would have had this mapped out, your limit would have picked you up in here. Stop loss sit right here. You going about your business, right? And then by the time you sell it here, if you wanted to partial off here, look at that. That's 200 base points zone to zone. This is why I choose the 1 hour because it gives you some substance, but it also gives you some distance, right? It also gives you some distance. So by the time I'm thinking right here, that's a mean play. That's like 500 base points. So, shall we read? This has been a great call, man. Drop some fires in the chat if you learned something. Right. And you can share this link when I render it. It's gonna be free. Drop it on YouTube. It's gonna take no longer than like 20 minutes. This is called following the imbalance. So if you're taking notes, great. If you are in the chat, you will have a picture verbatim of this. Don't mind my third grade drawing. This is not in cursive, so you're able to read it. All right, so first outline, if you may. Drawing the fib based on the runs on sell side allows the shorts and sells to be orchestrated within the same fib drawn on the swing low to swing high, right to left. We just covered that. That means you're looking to draw your fibs from right to left based off the runners. And you can be orchestrated based on if you get the buys to orchestrate your sells. Or you can just verbatim wait for your selling areas, short zone, external zone, and extreme confidence zone to sell off, right? Allowing first run to pivot and create filler gives the run more or higher probability of getting wick entry and confidence zone at the running sell side. That is important. What do you mean by that, Ty? I'm glad you asked. Where did we just get a confidence zone hit at? I think it was somewhere over here. Right here. Right? Yep. Yeah, it was right here. So this pivot allowed this confidence zone, meaning I'm drawing this out so you can see it while I read it. All right. Allowing first run to pivot. This was the first run. It pivoted. All right. And creates a filler. Gives the run more or higher probability of getting wick entry in confidence zone. Meaning once the second run happens, you are now setting yourself up for liquidity underneath it for your entry of wick entry. So you're not waiting for price to go above and then come back to your zone one, which it did, but your better entry is here because you're under all of this after the run. Because why? People are guessing the bottom. So you know people are loading up right here. Because on the lower time frame, which they trade 5 minute, 1 minute, 3 minute, it's support ringing in this wick. So they're buy, 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 buy. Let me set my stop loss right here. Oh, NASDAQ back to all-time highs. They don't pivot. We came right back to the pivot. Drop. This is you with confidence. So your move here and your move here outweighs this. So you're not even tripping on this. You're not tripping on missing this momentum. There's ways to get around to catch this because we can, yeah, we can get that off one candle, right? But just based off what I'm teaching y'all, that's what that definition is. All right. And then I said, if reaction of confidence zone taps and creates imbalance back above zone one, or no, not zone one, but level one. This would be technically your one, back above where you drew your swing low, right? You can anticipate standard fib to give entry of zone one for buys. What do you mean by that, Tosh? That means once you write that out or pivot that out, if you may, you got to go standard. This is why standard is on the back end of that definition because you miss it here. This would be your standard fib because we go low, we go high. This will give you a potential second entry above your confidence zone. But we didn't hit a confidence zone yet, right? Off of that run, because that means this run somewhere on a higher time frame, probably this one right here, or even somewhere over here. This is in a confidence zone somewhere. I don't want to take up too much time finding it, but I will go find it. Not even speak of it. But back to definition, anticipate standard fib to give you an entry of zone one for buys, which ideally should be above or aligned with zone one of last run on sell side that has tapped confidence on. Man, all that simply means is once you get a run like this, and let's say this is your confidence zone, your next move up impulsively, meaning if you meet an imbalance with an imbalance, that means by the time the imbalance pulls back and it pivots, ideally you're sitting in a zone one for an entry. which puts you far away from your confidence zone entry. That means you can do one or two things. You can decide to go confidence zone to zone one, get out of there, scalpers, or you can allow confidence zone to get tapped if this was a confidence zone to actually go above said zone one, come back for an initial entry. And then if zone one goes to your zone two, you can take this position off, collect your profits, bring your stop loss into your zone one profits, and let it ride. Right? Because remember, this same runner right here led you to a short zone. Right? Now, a couple more. Any pullbacks that fail to move down into imbalance created towards run up, keep eyes on where buy side may be intending to get rated. This is a beautiful, beautiful example of what we were doing over here. Meaning, this run right here, right? If we were to map this out, it never came back to fulfill the imbalance, right? Right? Y'all getting that? Same with this one, which is why we got this one right here. I'm gonna just use this one verbatim. Meaning, if the price is running up and it doesn't come back to your zone one to fulfill the imbalance, literally, I don't have to guesswork. If it doesn't come back here, I'm anticipating shorts. What do we have? We got the shorts right there. What did it come back to? Our zone one. Then we created a what? Another imbalance. Now what do I have to do? Follow the imbalance and start the whole thing over again. So the same scenario. If price, right? If price, right? If price does not come back and fulfill zone two, and we leave them again here, I am anticipating buys to get me back into that zone. I don't want to leave the money on the table. I don't want to wait a couple days, couple hours. No, I'm going to position myself here. We run on sell side. Now, how do I precisely position myself here? I precisely position myself with the run down, right? But I already have this zone mapped out. So that means even if I don't get a buy opportunity right here, I don't want to force it. I don't want to force it. Even if I'm in my confidence zone, I still don't want to force it because I want to be in that proper confidence zone where we have consistency right here. So that means if price falls from here, if I position myself for a buy at 213 to 240, price comes down, I'll take the loss. I'll take the loss, wash my hands with it. Because now I'm going to make up for it right here. I'm not going to guesswork no more. I don't have to. Right? That's what that means. So if, once again, any pullbacks that fail to move down into imbalance created towards run up, now towards run down, keep eyes on where buy side or sell side may be intended to get rated. Meaning, if price fails here, the raid is looking to happen ideally here. There's my confidence zone. Remember, your confidence zone is telling you exactly where the liquidity is. Not the support, it's telling you where the liquidity is. The liquidity sits under and above highs and lows. Y'all do get that, right? Liquidity is a pull under support. Liquidity is a pull above resistance, not just support and resistance. I want to add clarification to that. Now, 1 hour pivots continue equals 4 hour runner without having to go up in time frame. And literally, verbatim, the last note, I'm not capping, says follow the imbalance. I wish you the best of luck trading. Let's have a great rest of the week. We did good so far on Sunday. Let's peek at gold. Sold off again. If you caught that sell right there, I congratulate you for paying attention because we did map it out. Now, if you copy my markups, you should have had this off the 15. Too easy. Why? Because you know what, Ty? Let me go actually map this out because price came here and it sold off. And we just ran another sell side. So what do we do? Oh, Ty, you did it once again. Oh my God. Imagine if we stayed on gold, bro. This could have been your bag right here. Little easy squeeze, 67 and 90, 30 base points. Too easy. I don't have to guess it. This was live. If you missed it, it's cool. Don't miss it again. Because if you really had marked this up and then marked that up right when I had it marked up and I had that confidence zone, but I didn't mark it up, This could have been your buy. Like, yo, Ty caught a buy off the strength. Yes, you did. So with that being said, follow the imbalance. If you are looking to hop into the private channel, it's up to you. This is not forced. I don't hold people. I'm not recruiting people. This is why you'll see me never market anywhere on socials except for reaching out to me to ask me what it is. And then you can be a part of that. This will be recorded. I'm about to do it on YouTube right now. Any questions, hit me up. Ty Cognito. Peace. This was a good call, man. I'm excited, man. This is a good call. I'm looking at the chat real fast. Trey said go. Yep, Trey caught it. Trey caught it. Trey caught it. See, Trey is an elite. Trey is an elite. I think Kai caught it too. If you see a couple people, few people that caught it, it's because they are in the chat. If you're not in the chat and you didn't catch it, come on the outside, man. It's a little green. Hold on. Kai said he been in since now. See it now. I like to get recognition. Kai said he been in since 41, 43. Yo, y'all drop some fires in the chat. What y'all drop some fires in the chat? Y'all drop some fires in the chat for Kai, yo. Drop some fires in the chat for Kai. Kai said he been in since 41, 43. I don't even care if I gave it out or not. This is where he at, y'all. Look, this is live. Let me go back to the chat so they can see it on YouTube. This is Kai. Gotta love gold. Been holding since 41, 43. This was yesterday. Or today. My bad. My bad, Kai. Look, this is him, bro. You can't get no price went to 41, 44. You can't get no more saucier than that. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Kai been in this chat since almost a year. I think a year now, bro. He been here for some time. But he's a silent assassin. He don't say much. You know what I'm saying, but he in his bag. But look, he's here, y'all. Look, so he's running verbatim, literally. I'm gonna show y'all just what that look like. 41. Now he's down here. He's almost at 100 base points. Easy. This is the type of trading we want to see, though. Get him here, get him here. And it still could be going down, right? It still could be going down, which I know I already told the chat levels we looking for, but I deleted everything, so y'all don't have it. But shout out to you, Kai, man. Proud of you, brother. Continue to stick with it. Everybody on the call, proud of y'all, man. Um, we may have another call this week too, Thursday, but it might not be on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of that call, just hit me up. We'll go from there. Y'all be good, man. Y'all be safe. One.